Redwoods by Jason Chin. While riding a subway coming home from school, Jason sees a book. The coast redwoods are among the oldest trees in the world. Their ancestors lived about 165 million years ago during the Jurassic period. One tree can live for more than 2,000 years, which means there are trees alive today that first sprouted during the Roman Empire. Redwoods have shallow root systems that travel more than 100 feet from the tree. They help the tree stand, and they need all the help they can get because they are the tallest living things on the planet. Redwoods regularly grow to be more than 200 feet tall. A redwood trunk can be 29 feet in diameter at its base. That's so wide that a tunnel can be cut in it, big enough for a car to drive through. Amazingly, such a tall tree starts from a seed about the size of a tomato seed. A 1-inch long cone that houses the seed falls to the ground, and if the conditions are right, the tree will sprout. With enough light and water, a redwood sapling can grow fast, up to 2 feet a year. Redwoods also grow from other redwoods. When a tree falls or is cut down, new trees can sprout from big round masses along its trunk called burls. Often, several trees will grow from the burls on one stump. If you see a ring of redwoods in the forest, they probably all sprouted from the same stump. One reason that redwoods are able to live for so long and grow to be so tall is that they are very good at defending themselves. Their wood contains a lot of tannin, a chemical that protects them from fungal infections and insect infestations. Redwoods are also well suited to live through fire. If there is a fire, their extremely thick bark shields them from the heat, just like the heat-resistant tiles on a space shuttle. Their branches don't start until very high up, 200 feet in some cases, which also helps protect them from fire, since most forest fires can't reach their needles. Even if a fire penetrates a redwood's bark, the tree can still live. In some cases, a huge portion of the center of the trunk has been burned out, but the tree keeps on growing. In many ways, fire actually helps redwoods by clearing out other plants that would otherwise compete for resources like water and soil. Coast redwoods need a lot of water to grow as tall as they do, and the area in Northern California where they live is perfect. It's a rainforest. The air is cool and damp, and the land is often covered in thick fog. It takes a long time for water to travel all the way from the roots to the top of a redwood, and the fog helps the trees by preventing them from losing moisture to evaporation. In addition, the needles of a redwood can absorb moisture straight from the air. In the summer, when there is much less rainfall, redwoods have an ingenious way of collecting water. They make their own rain. When the fog rolls in, it condenses on the redwood's needles, and whatever moisture isn't absorbed then falls to the ground to be soaked up by the tree's roots. Other plants that live at the base of a redwood tree use this artificial rain as well. So not only do the redwoods water themselves, they water the plants around them. The branches of a redwood are called the crown, or canopy, and start very high up the trunk. To study redwood crowns, scientists have to climb into them, and that is not easy. Because the trees are so tall, researchers use a bow and arrow to launch a rope over the branches. When the rope is secure, they can pull themselves up. It is very dangerous work. When the needles fall off a redwood, they decay and turn to soil, and redwoods are so big that this soil often collects in the trees themselves. Soil that collects in the branches of a tree or in crevices on its trunk provide a home for other plants. Plants that grow in redwoods are called epiphytes. The most common epiphytes found in redwoods are ferns. In one tree, researchers found a mass of ferns weighing more than 1,600 pounds. That's heavier than a full-grown polar bear. Ferns are not the only plants that make their homes in redwoods. Mosses, fungi, bushes, and even trees grow in the redwood canopy. Researchers have found a wide variety of trees high above the ground, including hemlocks, spruces, firs, oaks, and California bays. In one redwood, searchers found a California bay tree growing out of a knothole over 300 feet from the ground. In addition to plant life, scientists have found many animals living in the redwood canopy, including flying squirrels, beetles, earthworms, centipedes, spiders, salamanders, and yellow banana slugs. Some animals, like red tree voles, live their whole lives in the treetops and never see the ground. Many birds live in the tops of redwoods, including bald eagles, ospreys, and woodpeckers. The marble murrelet and the northern spotted owl live almost exclusively in the oldest redwood trees. They are both endangered species. When a redwood is injured, the tree will often sprout new trunks that look like miniature versions of the tree itself. If a branch is damaged, a whole new trunk will grow straight up from the top of the damaged branch. Sometimes more than one new trunk will sprout. Researchers found one tree with more than 200 reiterated trunks in it. There was a forest of redwoods growing atop a single tree. The crown of a redwood can be very complex. As the tree grows, its main branches and the branches of its new trunks crisscross and run into each other, forming a maze of growth. The crown can become so dense that from its interior you can't see the ground or the sky. Researchers have gotten lost while exploring the crown. The largest of all redwoods are in a class of their own called Titans. For a long time, the record holder for the tallest tree in the world was the stratosphere giant, measuring a whopping 370 feet. But that record was broken in the summer of 2006 when researchers discovered Hyperion, a giant coast redwood rising 379 and 1/10 feet from the ground. And it's still growing. That's 6 stories taller than the Statue of Liberty. It's taller than a 30-story skyscraper. So tall that if it were introduced to a city skyline, it would fit right in.